Well, folks, welcome to another Shop Talk, and we are in Riverside, Missouri. And I couldn't help but remember driving out here. I came by the old Riverside track, and she's under about 15 or 20 feet of dirt down there, which I guess is fitting because, boy, a lot of drivers started their careers there. A.J. Foyt raced there when he was just a youngster, and I guess it's better to have it buried than to have a bunch of apartments or something sitting there. But anyway, the reason we are in Riverside today is we are here with Caleb McClellan. He's a factory stock driver at Lakeside Speedway, and of course he's raced at a couple of other tracks, but we're going to talk to Caleb a little bit today about his racing career. Caleb, your grandfather raced late models, your dad raced some street stocks, so man, it's no wonder that you are in racing.
Yep, they definitely started everything. It's been in the family for years, and I'm just fitting that I started doing it too, I guess.
Well, we got to talk a little bit about your grandpa. First of all, I want you to make sure and tell us his name, but what I understand, a national championship with IMCA.
Yeah, I think it was 75. He won the national championship, the IMCA championship.
Late models.
Late models, yeah. But a little bit different from the late models they got nowadays.
Yeah, that's still saying quite a bit, though. When you start talking IMCA and national championships, man, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, and especially raced in Oklahoma City every weekend, drove back and forth there every Friday night to go racing.
Boy, what racers will do.
Yeah.
But also your dad, he raced street stocks, and I want to understand he did that before you were born, though.
Right. Yeah, they both raced there together and raced late models, and my dad raced street stocks.
Yeah.
So.
Where'd your dad race at?
Oh, he raced down there at Riverside a lot, and they ran the mile track out there at Sedalia, the late models, and so.
Several different places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where did your first race take place? Now I know you really got started at a young age because you were up there at I-35. But tell us a little bit about where your first race took place.
Well, it was up there at Winston. They had that junior stock class, the 12 to 16-year-olds. We'd been helping Gary Donaldson out that year, and there towards the end of the year, he let me get in his car and drive it, and that's how it started.
Was he a little nervous?
Oh, yeah. He asked Gary about that. I think he chewed every one of his fingernails off that night.
Yeah. Well, now, was he racing the same car?
Yeah, he was racing the same night, too. We had, as soon as he'd get in from the heat race, we'd have to let the car cool down, and I'd get in and go back in.
I imagine he was a little uptight, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Because, man, that's a small track and a new driver. Why, you know things can happen in an instant there.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah. Does anything stand out in your memory about that first night? I mean, man, what's it like? I've never experienced that, but what is it like to get in a race car like that for the first time and go out? Of course, everybody you were racing against was probably same talent level you were.
Yeah. Oh, you're excited. You think you know everything, you know what to do, but then you get out there and you just don't know what to do.
You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you're all nervous, and but it was definitely a fun experience, and that's started everything.
That got it all going.
Oh, yeah.
When and how did you get your first race car, the one that you actually purchased yourself, and how much did it cost?
That was 02 when I drove Gary's car, and that winter we bought a car, and it was, I think we gave $1,500 for it. I think my parents gave me some money to buy a car when I turned 16, and I spent most of it to buy a race car.
You must not have been real heavy into the dating scenes, all I can say, if you decided to get a race car and not a real car. Oh, so 16 years old, and you start running the following summer, which would be 2003, you start running the street stocks full-time at I-35. Now, there again, how did that year go?
Well, just like anybody says about their first year, it was real hard. So
a real learning experience.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Had lots of problems with the cars and still learning it and figuring it all out.
Yeah.
You know, it's different just racing a couple times than racing every weekend. So learned a lot. So
one of the things that I didn't write down that I meant to, and I think I know the answer, but who was one of your big mentors as far as this went? I mean, I know your dad was in racing, so he had to have been there.
Mostly him, you know.
Yeah. Boy, that had to be handy, though, to have somebody with that knowledge and experience to be there to think when you're going like this.
Yeah.
Thinking, what do I do now? To be able to say, well, Dad, what do we do?
Yeah, he's already been there and got more experience at it than I do, but...
Big help. How about O'Donnellson? Was Donaldson?
Oh, yeah, Gary helps out.
I was going to say, I can't imagine him standing by and not putting his 2 cents in.
Yeah, he's always had something to say.
Okay, just 2 years in, and you, well, I don't know what that question is. You win your first race. That's what it is. Just 2 years in, you ended up winning your first race. And now tell us a little bit about that and where it was.
That was our second year. We raced US 36 up there in Osborne. I think, I don't remember if it was about halfway through the season or so when we got to win or not. I don't remember too much about it. I remember it was real exciting after all that, you know, all the work you put in, all the trouble you go through to finally get one.
Now we got to remember this. This is still the same car. Now you haven't changed cars yet. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about this later on, but it's still that same car that you paid $1,500 for. I'm trying to remember, you bought that from Bobby Lopez. And
it was one of the old super stocks when they raced up there at Winston a long time ago. So.
But still the same car racing at Osborne. But now you come back the next year, and boy, you're into it just a little bit more. You come away with the points championship, but no feature wins.
No, we had a couple problems there at the beginning of the year, and then just real consistent throughout the rest of the year. I think we was second or third every night, and ended up getting the championship that year with no wins.
You know, that's got to be a little bit of both in that, man, you were running good, but not quite good enough to win, so that had to be frustrating. But to run up front like that.
Yeah, it was real nice. Real, you know, feel good. You got everything going right. You're real consistent and everything. I think you're starting to get things figured out, but...
Okay. 2007 and 8, you run part-time because you're involved in a program that is furnished by Chrysler. You're working at a Chrysler dealership, as I think you told me.
Yeah, it was a 2-year college program. So I was back and forth from Oklahoma every 2 months to go to school and come back and work every 2 months.
Yeah.
And when I was gone, my dad, he'd just take the car and go racing without me.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah. He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in 2 years, we never, you know, raced a full season or something. It was just on and off, And I think my dad got 1 or 2 wins. Just one when he raced.
The old guy pulled one out. Huh? I mean, we can call him that, right?
Yeah, he still knows how to do it.
Okay. 2009, you guys kind of make a complete change again and start over, because you start racing at Lakeside, and of course the big half mile, and man, we know how that place will eat up motors and wreck cars and do all kinds of stuff. And we're still with this car that you bought in 2003, but how did you do in the points that first year out there? Once again, like I say, a learning process all over.
Oh yeah, definitely. That first year, I don't think it was 15th or 16th.
16th in the points.
Yeah, we had a lot of problems, and it's definitely a lot different than racing them short tracks. You had to, you know, it's a lot harder on stuff. You're going a lot faster. You wear out a lot more parts. You wreck a lot harder, and so.
I was going to say, a lot of guys, in fact, I don't think it was Gary Donaldson that said this to me, but somebody said, it seems like the corner never ends.
Yeah.
when you go into the corner at Lakeside compared to 35 or Osborne.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. After racing at their Lakeside, we went back up to Osborne here last year. And it was just so much different. Go back to the little short tracks.
Yeah.
You're like, where'd the straightaways go? You don't got enough time to...
Just kind of on the gas a little bit and then back at it again.
Yeah, you got to turn already.
Yeah. What is in your thinking process as far as your race team wanting to race at Lakeside? You've shown that you can have some good success at tracks like Osborne and I-35. Why Lakeside? What is the thing about Lakeside?
Oh, main thing is it's real close to home.
Uh-huh.
As opposed, 45 an hour drive up there up north, and this is only 15, 20 minutes away. And it's a real fun track. I really like the track and everything. And it's a good group of guys to race with.
Good competition.
Oh, yeah. There's good competition.
I was going to say, you're not lacking for competition up there.
No, there's always.
Yeah. And plus, now that they've opened it up with the I-35 cars being able to come up there, some of the IMCA stuff, without, I guess, making anything too negative out of it. What's your thought process on that? Have you seen anything one way or another as far as you're concerned?
I don't know. That's a big topic everybody gets into. But,
I was going to say, it's pretty heavy on the website.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I think it's good. They're trying new stuff, but I still think they're learning, and they need to figure out what they want to do and get a set, rule book instead of having two different cars racing together. But they'll get it figured out.
Well, I know last year was the first year, and it was definitely talked about on the websites before the year began. And I tried to tell a lot of people that were talking about it, and I don't really get on the websites and mess around with that much. They got enough negativity without me getting on there, so I just let it go. But it was the first year, and you knew that they were going to have to try and figure out a way to equalize it, but they had to have a starting point.
Right.
And I think they are working their way through it.
Right, yeah. I think from what they started with, they kind of learned a few things with it and changed a few things. And, like I said, I don't get on the internet and get in the middle of all that stuff. But
not too many drivers do. You see a few, but not
Yeah.
Okay, for 2011, Caleb, what's it going to be? Is it going to be the same car from 2003? That means this rascal is going to be,
same car.
8 years old?
Yep.
And I guess you haven't wrecked it or bent it bad enough to...
last year we had a pretty good wreck. Bent up the rear end on it pretty good.
Yeah.
Got it all fixed and can't even tell.
So 2011, same car, same class.
Yep. Pretty much same thing as always. So.
All right. How about we didn't really cover this, but who builds your motors?
Well, usually we build our own, as you can see. We try to do a lot of the work ourselves. And but here last year we had one of Ray Littrell's engines in there, and had good luck with that.
That's some good pieces from what I hear.
Yeah, they're good. So.
Yeah. But I guess like so many race teams like yourself that are garage based or whatever you want to call it, family, whatever, money is really
definitely
tight, and unless you got a ton of sponsorship, you got to do the stuff yourself to keep the cost down.
Yeah, we're still using parts my dad and grandpa raced with.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's something. Well, Caleb, we are about out of time, buddy, and I know there's lots of people that help you get on the track each week, so we've got just a few minutes or a minute left. Who are those folks?
Well, the main thing there's my dad. It's just me and him out here in the garage working on the car. He's out here working on it more than I am sometimes. And of course, my mom and my wife, they're always there every weekend, support me, and cousin, everybody comes out and watches us. And sponsors, we don't have very many of them. We got Smoke and Q Barbecue. It's a good friend of ours, does barbecue and stuff. He helps us out when he can.
Now, where's that located?
He's out.
I love barbecue. That's why I'm asking.
He lives out in Overland Park. He goes around and does catering and stuff. And then Jack Tanner helps us out a lot. He does a lot of the fabrication. We don't have a tubing bender and stuff. And he helps us out a lot with that. That's where the car is at right now.
Okay.
So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's up there getting a couple things fixed on it. So.
All right.
So. That's about it.
All right. Well, folks, there you go. One of the guys that is running the same car now for a few years, and is starting to show some signs, man, with a feature win out of Lakeside last year. And, things usually just get bigger.
I hope so.
Or as they say, sometimes when you're on the bottom, there's only one way, and that's up. But one of the guys you really want to watch out for next year in the street stock class, because, man, he did show, I forgot, 9 feature wins in a row, or heat races in a row.
I think it was 9.
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah. But anyway, Caleb McClellan.